Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hacker AJ Raven, and I'm here with my recap and review of Raised by Wolves Season number 1, Episode number 10, The Beginning, which is actually the finale for Season number 1. And you know what? I'm actually glad that this show ended up getting a Season 2 because this finale left me with a whole lot of questions. It ended up setting things for the next season, and yeah, there's a few of the things that I want to talk about, so let's get into it. The episode opened with Marcus waking up, and in the previous episode, we saw that one of his fellows ended up making him eat Mother's eyes. And yeah, I actually thought that that was going to come into play in the finale, but it didn't. Anyway, he's up, he's still trying to talk to Saul, and he ends up seeing the lander fly above him, and the lander is going somewhere, and Marcus decides that that's a sign from Saul and that he is still in his good books. So Marcus decides to go and follow the lander on foot, which again, it's going to take him a long time to catch up to it. In the lander, we see that father is flying the lander to a location which apparently is safe for mother to give birth in, and there are creatures in the area that they're supposed to be in. But as the lander nears, the creature disperses, and mother is like, "No, I'm going to have my baby here. It needs to be born here." Which again, I guess we already know that something creepy is going to come out of mother, and something creepy did come out, but I'll get to that later. So the lander lands and everyone gets out, and yeah, it's the same location that mother ended up seeing in her vision in the previous episode, where she was standing near the pit, and hooded people were around the pit, and there was apparently some sort of creature inside a weird looking mechanism with white fluid coming out of its mouth. So it's the same location, and yeah, I think it's clear that this planet has a history which we don't really know about, and with how things ended up happening in this finale, I do think that the narrative is playing with space and time. So everyone decides to make camp at a nearby cave, and Campion is talking to Mother. He's like, "Mother, are you alright?" And Mother is like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And Campion is like, "You know what, Mom? I have become better at throwing rocks, and I would like you to see that." And Mother is like, "Campion, I will, but right now I need to rest. I need to take care of the baby." And yeah, you can tell that Campion's feeling a bit jealous, especially because, it's natural. It happens whenever a new baby enters the family. So mother is talking to Mary, and Mary actually tells mother that yes, as humans, Campion is feeling jealous. Again, it's natural. However, I also think that father is also feeling jealous because father loves you in a way that androids can love each other, and he's actually jealous that he didn't have a role to play in the birth of this baby. So you might need to talk about it. Mary also runs tests, and apparently the baby needs to be born soon. Then we cut to Hunter, Tempest, and Holly, and these three are talking about how Saul is alive. Hunter is like, "My arm was pushed into the hole in the previous episode, but my arm didn't burn because Saul is looking after me." She also gives Hunter Remus's tooth, and Tempest is like, "You know what, you both are crazy. I can't listen to any of this." So while these three are talking about Saul being alive or existing, we know that Paul is hearing voices in his head, and he again hears voices, and he ends up following Mouse into this little cave, and in the cave there are actually cave paintings, and you can see the snake. There's also a painting of the lander with two androids in there, and I'm like, wait, are you telling me that all of this has happened before? Is this a different version of what has already happened in the past? Again, I have a feeling that this show is playing around with space and time, and I have a whole lot of questions which I hope will be answered in the second season. Mother decides to go and talk to father. She is like, "Father, are you jealous of me?" And father is like, "You know what, mother, I am. I have questions about how you ended up being pregnant, and I'm also questioning my role in this family." And mother tells father about how she was in the virtual simulation, and she was able to access her memories of their creator, and how she was in love with the creator. And during the simulation, data was downloaded into her when they were mating, and that's how the child came to be. And father doesn't like any of it because father is like, "Wait, so you're telling me that the creator ended up giving you access to archived memories, but I didn't have them?" And mother is like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And she also tells father that their main role is to take care of this baby, because apparently the 6 children that they were trying to take care of before was only practice, and this is the mission, this baby is the mission. And father doesn't believe that, and you know what, I don't believe mother either. I'm like, wait, this is way too complicated. I don't think your creator wanted to send you to a different planet and also that you can be impregnated and then you can give birth to a new baby while the rest of the frozen embryos that you ended up taking to term were actually practice. So yeah, there's definitely something happening. Father decides to walk away from mother because staying near her makes him angry. Campion goes after father. Father's like, you know what, Campion, I just need a break. I need to stay away from mother. While that's happening, Marcus is still trying to follow the Lander's path, and while he is walking, he has this hallucination where Hunter is on the rock and he's crying, and it's revealed that the arm that Marcus pushed into the hole actually ended up turning into a snake. And Hunter is like, yeah, Saul didn't save me, Saul punished me because I wasn't listening to you, and now I'm dead. And yeah, Marcus is just trying to replay weird revenge stories in his head because he apparently thinks that he's the king of humanity. Paul decides to go and talk to Campion, and he's like, Campion, can you take care of Mouse for a while? I need to go and get a gift for mother. And Campion is like, okay, and we as viewers know that Paul is up to no good. While that's happening, father is trying to figure out the equation. He's like, I want to take care of the children, I want to take care of mother, but I can't take care of the children because when I'm near mother, I feel angry, so what am I supposed to do? And this is where he figures out that he needs to erase his memories of mother, and he needs to erase how happy he was with her over the 12 years, and then he can just default to his factory settings, which, I mean, it makes sense. Mary is looking for Paul, and she finds him coming out of the lander. It turns out that Paul ended up taking out a gear out of the lander, and apparently without that gear the lander can't fly. And Paul is like, yeah, that's what I was doing because Saul wanted us to stay here. The baby needs to be born here, and you just have to believe me. And of course Mary is worried because her husband has already gone crazy and she doesn't want her son to go crazy. Mother decides to go to the pit, and she's like, tell me what I'm supposed to do with this baby, what is my mission here? And while she's contemplating, a hooded figure comes behind her, and I guess the hooded figure is ready to throw Mother into the pit, but Mother realizes that someone is going to attack her. He ends up killing the hooded figure. Father is here, and it turns out that it's a human, and this is where these two figure out that the creatures that they have been eating are actually human beings that devolved. Again, playing with space and time. And you know what, I think that a whole lot of us knew that the creatures that the children were eating or hunting were actually human beings. And mother is like, you know what, it's better that we don't tell the children about it. And this is where father tells mother that in order for him to stay near her, he needs to erase his memories with her, and mother doesn't like that idea. And she is like, wait, father, can you hear that? And father is like, no, I don't. And when he turns around, mother is gone. Mary's equipment ends up beeping, and yeah, it's time for the baby to be born. And she is like, mother, we need to help you give birth to the baby. She goes into the cave to find mother, but she's not there. While that's happening, Paul ends up taking Mary's gun, and he aims the gun at Mary. And apparently Paul knows that Mary and Marcus aren't his real parents, because these two ended up killing his real parents and taking their face. And Mary is like, you know what, this is all true. I'm not your real mother, but I still think of you as my son. So whatever Paul is communicating with, that being knows that Mary and Marcus aren't actual Matrake people, and they're traitors. So again, I really hope that season 2 gives us some answers. Paul is like, you know what, I don't trust you. He ends up shooting Mary, and yeah, Mary's down, you all. I just hope that she ends up living. And yeah, I like her character, and I don't want her to die. Paul just simply runs away. While following the sound that only she can hear, Mother goes into this cave, and this is where she finds the weird equipment that we saw in her vision. She also finds the mask, and turns out that the mask was actually being worn by an android, which again, I do think that all of this has happened before. Space and time mumbo jumbo, and it's time for Mother to give birth, and dun da da, a snake comes out, which, I mean, we already knew that something creepy was going to come out of Mother, and yeah, it's a snake, which makes sense because we know that giant snakes used to live on this planet. So whatever impregnated Mother ended up kickstarting that snake lineage again, and it does look weirder than the skeleton snakes that we have seen. I guess it ended up taking a few things from Mother, because as you can see, this snake can actually fly like the necromancer, and it ends up suckling on Mother, and Mother carries the snake baby away. Campion is calling for her, but Mother ignores him, and apparently her idea is that she needs to get into the lander and crash the lander into the pit, because she just can't throw the snake into the pit because the snake can fly. Father is like, you know what, Mother, I understand what you want to do, and I want to help you, because that will make me happy. So these two get into the lander, and yeah, they crash the lander into the pit, and they end up replaying their memories of their happy times with the children as they are getting ready to die, and the lander goes into the molten core, which, I mean, I wasn't expecting these two to die, but that happened. Marcus is still walking, and he hallucinates that Paul is sitting on a rock. He goes into comfort Paul, and it turns out that there are actually other humans here. I guess they're atheists, and there are 4 of them. Marcus ends up killing 3 of them, and he ends up using the communicator of the 4th person. And yeah, atheists have their own ship, their own ark, and they are on this planet, which, I mean, this is going to be very interesting, because I guess they might end up recognizing who Marcus and Mary really are. They might end up meeting their old friends. Who knows? So, in a weird turn of events, as the episode is coming to an end, apparently, from what I can understand, the lander decided to go through the entire molten lava core, and it ended up coming out on the other side, which, okay, and it turns out that the lander is now in the tropical area that the androids were always talking about taking the children in, but right now, those two are in the tropical area, but the children are on the other side of the planet, and I guess they'll be making their way to the tropical area, so maybe by mid of season 2 everyone might end up meeting each other. Who knows? So the lander's there, the snake is still alive, and it wants to feed on Mother, so Father decides to take Mother and jump out of the lander. And as far as Campion and the rest are concerned, Mother and Father are now dead, and this is where Campion needs to lead the group. Mary is alive as well, which thankfully, and yeah, I guess Campion is the leader, which, I mean, I'm not really sure how I feel about this, but it is what it is. So the lander crashes on the ground, and yeah, the snake has apparently grown way large in size, and it breaks out of the lander, and it decides to fly away, which, I mean, the shape of the snake feels very weird. It's as if it also has a weird nose, which, yeah, also the CGI could have been better on the snake, but yeah. So that's where the episode ends. I might end up doing a written review of this for the Geekery. I'm not really sure yet. But it was an enjoyable show. I do think that a whole lot of people will enjoy it, binge watching on HBO Max. And yeah, let's see what season 2 has in store for us. The snake imagery is also very weird, because you can tell that this show ended up taking influences from the story of the Garden of Eden, and also certain Greek mythology stories. So I do think that it was a conscious decision for the writing team when it came to creating this snake and having the snake be Mother's 7th child. And yeah, there are layers to this show if you really want to think about it, but yeah, let's see what happens in season 2. Again, let me know what you guys thought, and until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed, and see you guys later. Bye.